All right. Hi, everyone. Let's see. Okay, so my microphone is not on mute. Let me know in the comments. Can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay? And let me know where you're tuned in from. As you are coming in, please share this out. Invite your tribe, invite your community. Let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Kashira. I am a person with lipstick on her teeth. Let me get that together. I am a business and branding strategist. I specialize in helping women entrepreneurs package their expertise, monetize their message, and create consistent revenue in their businesses. And I am so excited tonight to talk to you about metrics in your business. You guys, can you believe it? Q3 is about to be over. We are about to go into the holiday season. We are about to be in Black Friday and Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it's about to be a new year, 2020. I saw someone say 2020 is less than 100 days away. Can you all believe that? I know for me, I feel like, Lord Jesus, like I feel like it was just January and I was just fully starting to adjust to full-time entrepreneurship. Hey, Jamil, and really trying to get my grounding together. And then here we are about to go into a new decade. And so the whole point of tonight's live stream is to talk to you about metrics and numbers and the things you should be thinking about as we get ready to start the fourth quarter of the year. Now is not the time to throw in the towel. If this year has not gone how you wanted it to, there is still time for you to rebound and pull it together. So please do me a favor, share this broadcast out, put it out there with your family and friends. We can get people in the room and spread some love. Now, I know numbers is not the most fun thing ever. I know that the fun stuff is the social media and the lives and creating the opt-ins and building our list and getting speaking engagements and getting press. And I hear you, I see you, I feel that. But you cannot have a profitable business if you do not know your numbers. You can't make money if you don't know where that money's coming from. You can't continue to 10x your growth if you don't even know if you have growth. So what I wanted to walk you through, and I'm not going to have you here too long. I know it's late, but I want to just walk you through just a couple of the key metrics I recommend that you review at the end of not only each quarter, but at the end of each month. So as we know, October 1st is the start of fourth quarter. So you can take some notes today and use exactly what I'm telling you to look at the start of the fourth quarter on October 1st. And you can also do this for evaluating October in general. And you can also backtrack. If this is something that you outsource to somebody on your team, tag them in the comments and have them come in as well, okay? So if you're here on LinkedIn or Facebook, I am going to have some slides coming up. You'll still be able to see me. For folks on Instagram, if you want to come over to LinkedIn or Facebook to see the slides, you're more than welcome, but you aren't necessarily going to miss out if you don't see them. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. So the very first thing you want to look at and analyze every quarter and also every month is your revenue. Duh, right? We know that we start with sales. So revenue basically means money that's coming into your business. So that's your sales, your retainers, your payment plans, all of those things. So now let me actually break down line by line every quarter what you should be looking at. First, your month-to-month revenue, right? So if you're thinking about Q3, that's September revenue, that's August revenue, that's July revenue. You want to not only know what your total revenue was for each month, but also the month-to-month change. Was there month-over-month growth? Was there month-over-month loss? Was it stagnant? Did you just remain the same as you continue to win around? You want to understand what's happening. The benefit of tracking month-to-month growth and quarter-to-quarter growth as you continue to progress in your business is that you actually start to understand the seasons and cycles of your business. You understand your growth periods, you understand your slow periods, you understand when you probably need to step things up, when you need to actually slow things down. You know, everybody has different times of year where they're actually planning and taking a step back from their business. People tend to do that in their slow months, and they ramp up in their busy months to make enough money to actually take time off during the slow months. So you really want to understand that month-to-month revenue and that quarter-to-quarter revenue. You also then want to drill down or you're looking at monthly, to understand like your weekly revenue, right? Because you need to understand, and some of you need to do daily depending upon what kind of business you have. You have a product-based business, you need to understand your customers' buying habits. Or are they do you have the kind of customer base that's only buying on the 1st and the 15th, right? Like around payday? Do you have the customer base that always buys things on Fridays because they got money in their pocket and they want to spend it? You want to understand when your customers are actually buying, when your clients are actually paying, so that you have a better understanding of when to roll out your specials and your deals. If you know your customers tend to shop a lot around the middle of the month, typically on Thursdays and Fridays, it doesn't make sense for you to roll out a sale on the first Monday of the month, right? Like, you don't want to necessarily try to create new habits. You may want to play into the habits your customer base already has. You also want to look at your revenue for your payment plans. So my service providers, a lot of us have payment plans. You need to understand what percentage of your customers are on the payment plans and how that's impacting your business. Because what has happened for some people is when they get a new client, they get mad excited and they hop on social media and say, I've had a $50,000 launch because they sold 10 $5,000 packages. So what they not saying is all 10 of them people are on payment plans, so they only made $500 per person, so they only have $5,000 in the bank, right? There's a difference between banked revenue and accounts receivable. Accounts receivable means that's money that'll be coming in at some point, and yes, you still account for that, but that money's not in your bank, it's not in your hand. So you don't want to spend money that you don't have, because even though we all have contracts and automated payments, you can't guarantee that everybody's going to pay you and that somebody won't fall off. And even if you pursue them legally, that's still more expensive. So that money is just not happening, right? So you want to make sure that you're clear on that, because that can impact your goals, right? If you have a goal of making $10,000 a month, you have to understand how many clients on a payment plan you need to bring in to actually hit those revenue goals. Let me know in the comments, is that making sense? This is really, really important. So I want to make sure that this is making sense. Thank you, Billy, on LinkedIn. I see you. But let me know in the comments, does that make sense, right? Really understanding who's on a payment plan, who's not, and what money is banked and what money is receivables, okay? Let me know in the comments. You can put an emoji, you can put a heart, you can put a 1, just put something, because I know accounting is not necessarily everybody's favorite subject, but we got to talk about it, right? We can't just, Ricky, okay, so Ricky said it's gospel. I know I can always count on Ricky to hold me down, right? Like, we have to have these types of conversations, because profitable businesses, 6-figure businesses are more than pretty gold letters and playlist script text on flyers, y'all. Like, this is really about looking at the numbers and understanding, where is your money at? Ricky says cash versus accrual. Absolutely. Like, we need to know. Okay, the next thing you want to look at with your revenue is you want to actually compare and contrast the amount of new customers versus repeat customers to understand what's really happening. There's not a right or wrong answer of which one you want to be higher. It's just really dependent upon your goals. I know in my line of work that repeat customers are easier to get than new customers, because repeat customers already know you. They already know your style. They already know the quality. They're with you. That's why people who buy my makeup, I have a cosmetics brand. Like, people who buy my makeup, when they come back the second, third time around, they buy like 5 or 6 things. Like, the first time they might buy 1 or 2 to test it out, but they like it. They're going to come back and they're going to buy 5 or 6, and I know that data. So I plan for that in my marketing, right? This all ties to your marketing. So let me go deeper with my cosmetics brand. Because I know repeat customers are more likely to buy a lot more than new customers, I already have an automated engagement email campaign set up to target former customers after they check out that first time around and get them to come back and buy more to entice them, right? This all comes full circles. You can't have a strategy if you don't even have the numbers to back that up, right? So you have to understand what's happening in your business. How many new customers do I have compared to repeats, and what are people consistently coming back to buy? And then to wrap up the revenue piece, you want to just know your top selling and least selling products or services. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to eliminate stuff. Again, it's really just about thinking through trends. You may find that there's one particular service or product that sells amazing in the summer, but it don't sell no other time of year. So it may make sense for you to just run promotions on that when it's hot versus when it's not, and focus on other things, okay? So let me know in the comments, is all of this making sense for you? Are you with me on the revenue? Because now we're going to transition into expenses, okay? And again, if you're just coming in, we're talking about metrics matter, all the numbers that I think businesses should look at the end of not only each quarter, but each month. We're talking about the quarter here. Again, this is not an all-inclusive list of everything you should be thinking about. These are some of the more impressing ones that I want to bring to the forefront. So when we're thinking about our expenses, right? We're thinking about our monthly expenses, our weekly expenses, our recurring expenses. So things that are coming out of your account every month, every year. You just want to always keep an eye on that, right? Expenses are not a bad thing. Expenses are write-offs. And if you're making real money, you want write-offs, okay? Don't be afraid of expenses. So you want to look at what you're spending on your technology, on your equipment, on your office space, on your teams, on your professional development. Did you know your business coach can be something that you write off? The classes you're buying, the conferences you're going to, right? All of these things are expenses, and you want to evaluate them. So one big thing for me that I'm looking at is one thing that's on the screen here on Facebook and LinkedIn is assessing your technology. I mentioned this before, but some of y'all are paying for 15 different tools because they $5 a month instead of getting the one tool at $100 a month that'll eliminate all of them, right? So you have to make sure that you're spending your money wisely and you're investing in the right things. Don't be afraid of these higher price tags, because a lot of these higher price tagged tech pieces will offer you way more features than what you're paying for. So some of the things that I'm evaluating when it comes to my expenses is one, my technology. Obviously, I'm always looking to figure out, do I need to upgrade? Where do I need to go? And then the second thing that I'm looking at in my expenses is things that I'm investing in for my own growth. So that looks like the conferences I'm choosing to go to, the certifications that I'm pursuing. Like I went back to school, but I did a certification through Harvard that I paid for. That looks like the coaching that I'm getting, because I'm really trying to understand what the ROI was. I'm trying to understand, when I took that course at Harvard, what happened with my revenue? What happened with my marketing and my exposure? Like, did that directly contribute to the bottom line at any point? Or did I use anything that I learned in my strategy? See, sometimes we're spending this money on stuff and we're not really tracking to see the ROI on it. And a lot of times we're just buying stuff and we're not taking advantage of it. We're buying classes and we're not watching them. We're hiring coaches and we're not doing the work. We're not leveraging. And I can say this as a coach, I have a lot of benefits in my programs, but a lot of people don't maximize the benefits. They don't use each and every one. And like, for me, I'm like, look, if I'm spending money, I'm gonna raise my hand. I'm gonna ask all the questions. I'm gonna use every perk, and I'm gonna get what I came. And my coaches will tell you, I'd be like, oh, I didn't get my login for this other benefit. Oh, we got you. I will ask all of that. So you want to make sure that you're actually looking at those things, make sure they tie back to your bottom line in some form or fashion. I'm not going to harp too much on expenses, but it's important. If you have a product-based business, this is also really important. You have to make sure that your expenses are in line with what you're charging for your products, because some of y'all aren't accounting for how much you're spending on packaging, how much you're spending on like tissue paper and boxes and tape and labels and stamps and printer paper, all of the things that you need to ship your products off. You're not accounting for that. You're pricing your product like you're pricing your lipstick, and of course all of the makeup in front of me. Wait, let me give something that's not out yet, because I'm like, all of my new stuff out is on the counter. So like, if like this little tube of lipstick, if I didn't account, if some of you all are selling this lipstick and you're only accounting for how much you paid for the tube, but you're not accounting for how much you paid to get, of course I'm gonna drop it, how much you paid to get your name on the tube, how much you paid for the box, how much you paid for the shipping supplies, how much you paid for the tissue paper, how much you paid Vistaprint for the postcard that you're putting inside of it, how much you paid for the printer paper for your labels, what you're paying in stamps, like all of those things, to make sure that you're accounting for that. A lot of y'all are solely looking at the revenue that's coming in. You're not looking at the money that's going out, and you don't realize that you're operating in the red. Okay, we love a good write-off, but we don't want to be in the red. We want to actually have a profitable business, right? Like, our goal is to actually make money that we can see, not to just watch it go out all the time. Okay, so now let's move on to the next one, which is profit, right? So this is where that accounting came in. So you want to look at your total profit. Profit, simply put, is revenue minus expenses, right? What's left over. And also keep in mind, expenses also include salary. So what you're paying yourself, what you're paying your team, and just any of that stuff that's going out, right? So what's left over is profit, total profit. Are you a profitable business? Do you want to be a profitable business, right? And then you also want to understand your profit margin. And this is where Kanisha, who's on Facebook, is in the comments. Kanisha, come in here and tell us what profit margin is for real, because profit margin is really important. You really want to understand, yeah, you have something left over, but how much of it is left over? And profit margin, like what a good one is going to vary by industry. I was doing some research earlier, and like in some industries, a 10% margin is good, and others 5% margin is good. But you want to know what your margin actually is. So you just want to take your gross profit and divide it by revenue to get your profit margin. Now, all of these things are going to matter when you are trying to get investors, when you're trying to get credit, when you're trying to get loans, trying to go to these banks. If you are a full-time entrepreneur and you're trying to go get a house, you need your financial statements. Like, you need to know your numbers. You need to know your margins. You need to know what's happening in your business. Everybody want to be a boss and to be a CEO, but they don't really want to be a boss or a CEO, because this is what bosses and CEOs got to deal with. And even if you're not the one that is crunching the numbers, you still need to know what the numbers mean. Even if you hire an accountant, you hiring a CFO, you still need to be able to go in there and talk the talk, because at the end of the day, if that business thrives or fails, it's still going to be on you as the founder, right? So Ricky says she likes the profit margins to be between 35-50%. Me too. I like mine to be high as possible. I'm always looking to minimize my expenses and increase my revenue. So we on the same page, okay? So let's move on to the next piece, which is your customer journey, right? This is like a made up number in a sense, but it's one that you do want to track. Like, it's not something that you're going to easily find on a financial statement, but it's something that you want to have on your back end. So just some things you want to think about is your customer acquisition cost. How much is it going to cost? How much does it cost you to get a new customer? A very easy way to understand this is think about ad spend, right? Let's say I'm a marketing company, which I kind of am, kind of not. And let's say all of this year, I've only spent $100 on ads, but I only have 10 customers. This is assuming that all my marketing was just the $100 I spent on ads, and I have 10 customers. Then that means my customer acquisition cost is $10. That means logically it costs me about $10 per client to get them in, right? So that's just based off of an ad spend. So you want to start to actually do some digging and see how much money you've actually spent on marketing and how many clients, customers that you brought in to understand your client acquisition cost. This number probably is going to be arbitrary for a lot of y'all because you're probably not paying attention to it. But if you're somebody that spends a whole lot of money in ads, whether that's Instagram ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, whether you're paying influencers, you should really be looking at your customer acquisition cost to understand if your ad spend is actually making sense for you. I personally prefer organic marketing and things like that, which is why the second bullet point on this screen, for those that are on Facebook and LinkedIn, is important. Your customer acquisition time. How long does it take, right? How long does it take for you to get people to go from finding you on Instagram to now hiring you as their coach, or finding you on Instagram and then buying your product? Do you track how long that takes? I feel like as someone who has a service-based business, it's easier for me to do that because I can just ask my clients, like, how long you been finding me? Who told you about me? Like, whatever else. But you want to understand that, because if you have client spots to fill, like if you have 3-month programs, you need to fill those programs every 3 months. You need to understand that if it takes you 30 days to convince somebody to book a call with you, then you can't wait till that last day 89, to start recruiting. You got to start recruiting probably at day 45 to really fill those spots. So Ricky asks, do I include Dubsado webinar website costs into my customer acquisition fees? I do. I did not want to complicate it and like go too deep with that. So that's why I just gave a really basic example of ad spend versus number of clientele. But I do factor in how much I spend on mainly my webinar platform and how much I spend on Kartra, because my website exists, but like it's not really what I use to like get clients. Like, I send y'all to Kartra. So anyway, so let's move on to the next bit of tea. So let's talk about social media. This is everybody's favorite thing to look at. This is probably one of the only things people tend to look at, right? And that is your total followers. Like, it's an arbitrary number, y'all. Like, I know it's fun and it's cute to look at, and I do a bad job of tracking this now, but I used to be such like obsessed with it, but it is something that you do want to look at, because for some of you, you do have a business where social media truly impacts what's going on. I always strive for engagement over follower count, but you do want to start tracking that, right? So with social media, this is for any social platform that falls under social media. You want to track your total followers, your impressions, your engagements, and my personal favorite metric, actions taken. Instagram and Facebook do a really good job of telling you who's clicking around in your profile, what people are doing, moves that they're making. But I care more about the actions taken piece, because I need to understand where my money is coming from. Like, I am not here to get likes and amens in the comments. I am here to book calls. So I'm tracking whenever I post on Instagram lately, as I'm filling seats in my new coaching program, 2020 Jumpstart. The link is in my Instagram bio. The link is in the title of all these live streams. After these things are done, I'm going and looking and seeing of all the calls that I booked after that live or that post, where did those people come from, right? I'm really looking to see who clicked and who did what and what's happening, because I need to understand which of these platforms is really worth not only my time, but my ad spend, right? If I'm going to put money into a platform, it has to be one that's truly driving sales and driving traffic for my business. So 2020 Jumpstart, I've been marketing that program intentionally in a number of places, but I'm kind of changing things up in like the link and what I'm doing and what I'm saying, literally just to track. And if you haven't heard about 2020 Jumpstart, it's literally a new coaching program where I'm helping people create premium service offerings in time to pivot their business and skyrocket their growth for the new year. The link is all over the place right now to book your consultation to learn more about that. But again, I care a lot more about actions taken than anything else. But everybody else is different, right? You don't necessarily have to do what I do, but I'm just being open and transparent, because I hate to see people waste their time trying to get their followers up, not realizing that follower count is not directly tied to revenue. So just something to think about, okay? Is this making sense? Like, let me know in the comments. I know y'all be quiet, but like, I need to know if this makes sense, because I want y'all to take your numbers real serious. And I want to make sure that everybody knows where they're at going into Q4, because sometimes we'll set goals for ourselves and we're setting things that just don't make sense where we are in business. We'll make sure that we're actually being realistic and we understand like what's actually happening in our business and where do our priorities need to lie. So Billy says it makes perfect sense. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right, let's move on to the next thing, which is, sorry, y'all, I'm messing up, clicking the wrong button. So email list. So let me know in the comments. Put a one in the comments if you have an email list. Kanisha says it makes sense. Absolutely, absolutely. So put a 1 in the comments if you have an email list. I'm not going to get on you if you don't, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows they need to have an email list. So I'm sure you know by now, but put a 1 in the comments for the email list. So when you're looking at your email list, and everybody says the money isn't a list, I agree, but everybody's different. You want to first look at your total subscribers, obviously, but you also want to look at your month-to-month change and quarter-to-quarter change of subscribers. I know a lot of y'all are doing like purges and you're deleting people, and that's totally fine. You don't have to keep people forever, but you just want to just notate like what's happening with your email list. Are you making sure that you're actively growing it and you're building out your funnels and all of those things? Then outside of that, you want to look at your average open rates per email. You want to know, are people actually opening them? Because if people aren't opening your emails, your subject lines are probably whack. If people are opening your email and not taking action, that means your calls to action in the emails are whack. It's very, very simple. Very, very simple. So Ricky says, this is my easiest to get read. Kanisha says my open rates are low. That's okay. Change up the subject lines. They can't be whack, y'all. And the cool thing about marketing is a big experiment. There's a lot of best practices, but you have to experiment and try things to see what works for you. So you want to make sure that you have really good open rates on your emails, and everybody's is going to vary by industry. And I know typically your email marketing tool will tell you if you have a good email open rate. You also just want to understand, obviously, the open rate per email and then your overall average open rate. And then you want to look at your click-through rate. Click-through rate is basically, are people actually clicking on the links in your emails, right? The people clicking on taking action. You want to understand that. You want to understand your unsubscribe rate. Don't take it personally, but you do want to track that. And then also your conversion rate. So really just understanding. And if you have a good email marketing tool, I personally use Kartra. Before that, I had ConvertKit. If you have a good email marketing tool, it'll tell you your conversion rate. I know people are using, what is the new one? Klaviyo for e-commerce. I've heard really, really good things about that one as well. But you want to understand like where money's coming from in your email. And if you're not making money from your list, you have to reevaluate what you're working on. That's something that I'm going to teach you 2020 Jumpstart of really how to make money from everything you're putting your energy into so that it's actually fruitful for you and it's actually worthwhile. But you really want to understand like which of the emails you're sending are driving revenue for your business. And this is also important if you have a complex funnel system, kind of like I do, where I have a lot of passive funnels running that lead people to booking calls with me. So I've been really fortunate in 2019 where I haven't had to do a ton of live launching for my services because I have passive funnels where people are opting in for my free downloads. They're watching my free classes. It's kicking off an email funnel that's automated that I loaded months ago, and it's driving traffic to my sales calls. So that's something that even though I loaded those things months ago, I'm still tracking to make sure that they work. I personally believe in running your marketing through the ground, right? Like you want to use your funnels until they stop working, right? And fix them when they stop working. So you want to continue to track your conversion rates. I also just feel like MailChimp is just like not a good email marketing tool no more, right? So Billy on LinkedIn says test the waters before you dive in too deep. I know Ricky's talking about having your domain authenticated if you're using MailChimp. MailChimp has gone through a lot of changes. They're going through a lot of changes, y'all. I'm not with it. But anyway, so that's what I want you to track with your email list. One thing also, I know you're probably like, okay, girl, this is a lot. It is a lot. However, the good news is all the numbers that I want you to track, these are numbers that you should already have access to through your technology. So through your email marketing tool, through your Instagram and your Facebook analytics, through your Stripe and PayPal accounts. These will be things that you're just copying and pasting into a spreadsheet or basically exporting and then putting it into a place where you can like see it all in one dashboard. And I'm really good about tracking stuff, but I'm the kind of person that's like, I'll gather the data, but then I'm not going to sit there and look at it, right? I'm going to scan it, see if there's any red flags, and I move on. But now, as my business is growing a lot, I'm making it more of a priority. Like, I don't like this stuff either, but I'm going to do it. So now that I have a team, yay, we have a monthly team meeting in addition to our individual one-on-ones. And so our monthly meetings at the top of the month, my team, we're going to report out on analytics. Everybody has a different thing that they're reporting out on. So they were all on the same page and have a really good dashboard and understanding of what's happening in the business and where we need to focus our efforts. So something to think about. If you have a team or a VA or somebody that helps you, you can outsource this to them and just have them build out a dashboard in Google Sheets and just copy and paste those numbers in different places, right? So Ricky says those are actual CEO moves. I know, right? I feel mad crazy. Like, I have a team meeting, y'all. I'm shook. But like, when I tell you I was a team of one until March, like this is like literally I was doing all this by myself. So now it's really cool because I have like a lead assistant, and her job is to pull basically all of these numbers that I've told y'all about, and then I pull the financial stuff, and we're just putting it in the dashboard, and we're going to continue to build on it, and we're going to report on it for our other team members to hear. So anyway, that's something that you can outsource if you choose to. So let's move on to your website analytics. So Google Analytics will tell you all of these things. I know Shopify and Squarespace have their own analytics. There's a ton of analytics tools you can use that will tell you all of this, but you need to have an analytics tool, period, for your website. So you want to look at your total visits and unique visits. Unique visits just simply mean a new person, right? So if I go on your website for the first time ever, I count as one unique visitor. If I keep going back, I'm not a unique visitor anymore. It's still going to count me as one, but my going back multiple times still impacts your total visits number. That's why they are different numbers, right? So you just want to understand, are you tracking new people? Are you getting old people? Like, what's going on? You want to look at the average time they're spending on your site. How long are people there? The bounce rate, how long before they go off and leave your site? What are the top pages they're looking at? Traffic sources basically mean where are people coming from? So are they clicking your website from your Instagram, from your Twitter? Are they finding you through Google, through Bing? Are they being referred to you? Maybe you were featured in another platform. Maybe you were featured in a magazine, like online, like on Essence or something. They found you through that, so they came to you from there. It'll show you your traffic sources. So you want to understand. I look at this a lot. Like, I'm so intrigued by traffic sources because, like, my business is doing really, really well through Google, which is not a surprise because, but before I started like partnering with them, I wasn't really like on Google like that, but my SEO is like popping low key, unintentionally, because I didn't try. And like, Google has been driving a lot of traffic for my site. So now I'm being really, really intentional about it. And I'm starting to get ready to invest ad spend into Google because I'm already doing good over there. So something to think about. And then conversion rate by source. So my main site is still hosted through Squarespace. And so I really like that Squarespace will show you like how much money you made by referral source. So it'll be like, here, hey, let's say you made $1,000 this month. They'll be like, well, $500 of that came from people referred through Facebook. And so, like, I think that's really cool that they'll show you that. So I just understand where people are coming from. And Ricky says that it's addictive. Yeah, like, it really is addictive. Like, sometimes it can be fun because you can literally say, like, look, I made 80% of my money off of Google, and I'm over here stressing about these Instagram algorithms. Girl, bye. Right? You'll find yourself focusing on the wrong things. You want to focus on things that generate revenue, that generate money, okay? So you want to look at your website traffic and analytics. And so Khadijah says dashboarding you fancy. Yeah, I used to work at HR. Dashboards was everything, okay? And dashboards is about to be everything again in this entrepreneurship journey, okay? Because I'm trying to compare and contrast all this. I'm trying to understand if September was a popping month for me, what was happening on my website, what's happening in my email, what's happening on my social media, why was it such a popping month? I do not want to be the kind of entrepreneur that can't tell you why they're successful. Like, I don't understand that. But let me move on before I start preaching. So anyway, so we're going to wrap up here talking about just setting new goals, right? So when you're getting ready to, after you do all of this deep diving into the numbers, you're like, okay, now what? Numbers for me help me to set new goals. In accounting, I went to business school, we call this forecasting, right? We're trying to forecast what's going to happen next in our business. It's like a weather forecast. It's an educated guess about what's going to happen next. You make those educated guesses by looking at what's happened in the past and tracking your seasons. And so for me, I set goals based off of forecast, what I think is going to happen in my business. So I first ask myself, what is the goal? Why do I want to achieve the goal? When do I want to achieve it by? What steps do I need? What tools do I need? And how am I going to measure it? It's essentially a SMART goal, but every quarter I'm evaluating my goals and setting new ones. Every month I'm shifting things. And of course, every year I'm shifting things. Okay. So just wanted to give you that piece as well. And then this was supposed to be before that. But marketing, just to quickly wrap this part up, how much effort are you spending converting your followers into clients? And are you finding yourself attracting the wrong people? You may need to go back and look at where you're spending your time. The analytics are going to tell you what's happening. You might be spending all of this time over on Twitter, and your main moneymaker is really Facebook. Or in some cases, if you're not making money, maybe your main traffic source is Facebook. You may need to spend more time over there having stronger calls to action, right? So make sure that you're really assessing where you're spending your marketing time and your energy so that you're putting in places that's actually going to generate change and revenue in your business. And in my program, 2020 Jumpstart, I'm really going to emphasize this because a lot of people want to attract premium clients who are going to pay premium rates, but they're not spending time on the right platforms or with the right messaging to even attract those people. So we're basically, in a nutshell, this is the best way of saying you're wasting time and you're doing all the wrong things, right? So I want to make sure that we're spending our time and our energy, especially those of you that have 9 to 5s. You have limited time. I want to make sure that we're spending it on the right things and on the things that matter, on the right platforms, using the right messaging with the right offer in order to attract the right client. So that's something that you want to talk to me about privately. You can book a free consultation. The link to book that is in my Instagram bio and on the title of all these live streams that I got going on is bit.ly/2020 consult with Kay. So that's something that you can go ahead and get scheduled if you're interested. But again, this is something that if you come into the program, we're going to talk about a lot more. We have to make sure that we have the right business model to support premium clients and the growth that we want to have. So I'm getting ready to wrap up. So if you have questions, put them in the comments. Now I know this was a lot. We're about 30 minutes in, so I want to get y'all off and get ready for bed. But all in all, Q3 is about to be over, y'all. It's about to be Q4. 2020 is going to be here. It's okay if you've been neglecting these things. Now is the time to make a change, right? Now is the time to Start building out how you want your dashboard to look in Sheets or Excel. Start planning for this, blocking your calendar to fill these things in. But I always say it's better late than never, right? If you haven't done these things before, now is a really good time to do so. It's always up to you to make the shift, to be the change in your business. Like it's literally up to you to see magic happen in your business. You have to make that decision and then follow through and actually execute on it. And it's so funny. I just sent out the pre-work today for the 2020 Jumpstart program. And the very first thing that they have to do is watch the mindset training. So I'm like, look, before we dive into any of this strategy, I need you to know that I need your mind to be right in order for us to do the work that we need to do. Because your outlook, the things you say, the things that you do can literally impact your business either for the better or for the worse, right? And it's all about how we're choosing to view the actions we have to take and the things we need to do in our business. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I thank each and every one of you for tuning in with me, for spending time with me this evening, for following along. The replay will be up for about another day or two. So if you're interested in taking some notes, watching this back, sending this to your team, it's not too late to share this out. You are more than welcome to. And with that, you all, I am going to take off, get ready to go to bed. Talk to y'all in the next live stream. Bye.